Hey guys, thanks for joining me. Today's lesson is on the piano keyboard layout. I'm also going to share with you several exercises that you can do in order to build your music fluency. Do you want to learn how to read music really fast and efficiently? Then you won't want to miss this. Okay, let's get started. Today we're talking about the piano keyboard layout. And right before I start, I just want to say my nails suck. I know, I'm sorry. Now we can move on. But you know what? This plays into one of my main messages today. And that is to not make excuses. I almost put this tutorial off for yet another day because I needed to get this done. But then I just thought, you know what? No excuses, just do it. So we are going to talk about, first of all, the musical alphabet. Along with the musical alphabet, we're going to apply that to the layout of the piano keyboard. You all are trying to learn how to read music really fast and really efficiently. This is what's going to help you. And don't get my message wrong. I think that whatever instrument you play, you need to be doing whatever exercises, whatever you learn in your theory classes, you need to be applying to your own instrument, your main instrument. But this is a really, really great way to quickly grasp how the musical staff works because of the way that the keyboard is laid out. In addition to piano keyboard layout and the musical alphabet, we're going to talk about what we talked about in the last class, which are steps, skips, and leaps. You remember that, right? So in the last class, we talked about what steps, skips, and leaps looked like on the musical staff. And now we're just diving in a little bit deeper with how these look on the keyboard. And lastly, we're going to be addressing something really important, musical motion. That is how pitches move from one another. So when we talk about steps, skips, and leaps, that is a kind of musical motion, but we also have to include its direction, so ascending and descending. Okay, so the musical alphabet is A, B, C, D, E, F, and G. There's only 7 unique letters. It's really easy. That's it. These 7 letters get replicated over and over and over and over onto the piano keyboard. And one of my favorite things to do when I teach is to let students kind of discover patterns in music for themselves. So I'm going to go ahead and write in all of these letters to specific keys, white keys, on this keyboard here. And then I'm going to let you figure out where you see the patterns. Once you get to G, this pattern replicates itself again and again. Okay, and there you have it. All of the letter names are assigned to each one of these keys. And you might think, oh my gosh, how do you identify which is which? The trick is to use the black keys. So the black keys are really the markers for the placement for each of these letters. So you notice that we have a group of 2 black keys and a group of 3, and then a group of 2 and then 3, and then 2 and then 3, and that goes all the way up the keyboard. If you look at the group of 2 black keys, I want you to notice that C always occurs in the same slot. So if I look at this C, it's also to the left of the group of 2 black keys. The same with this C and the same with this C. From this C to this C is called an octave. I'll put that in our terms as well here. Okay, octaves are really important in music. So C to C, and then if I wanted to go to the next C, that's yet another octave. So I could start with this C, and then if I go up an octave, and then if I go up another octave. So what I did was I went from a low C to the next octave C, and then the next octave C, and you can hear that those pitches get higher and higher. So now let's talk about musical motion. If I move from a C up to D, that would be considered an ascending step. So any of these white keys going from one letter to the next letter chronologically in the musical alphabet are considered steps. So ascending steps, this is review, remember from last time. Ascending steps move to the right of the keyboard, and if you recall, they move up the staff this way, like this. Okay, so when I'm moving this way on the keyboard, I'm moving this way on the musical staff. Vice versa for descending. So descending motion moves this way on the keyboard. And if I want to move by descending motion steps on the keyboard, you can start anywhere. Let's just start on A, and we move backwards. Notice we're moving backwards, reverse through the musical alphabet. So it's A, G, F, E, D, and so forth. So those would be considered descending steps. Now what about ascending and descending skips? Okay, so you recall that on the musical staff, skips go from a line to the very next line to the very next line, or you could start on a space, go to the very next space, and then the next space. So those are skips. And on the keyboard, you're basically going to skip one letter. So I could start anywhere. I'll start on D. So if I want to go descending skips down, where would I go? From D to B is a skip. From A to F is a skip, a descending skip specifically. And that's really important to understand the ascending and descending musical motion. F to B, an ascending leap. You guessed it. Anything beyond the skip is considered a leap. So I could go to B, I could go even higher. I could go F to C or F to D. Those would all be considered leaps. What would it be if I went from an E down to a C? That would be a descending skip. Okay? What would it be if I went from a D up to the next D? That would be an ascending octave, also an ascending leap. So there are two kinds of steps. There are whole steps and half steps. These are very easy to identify on the keyboard. A whole step will have a black key in between the two adjacent white keys. So for example, C to D has a black key in between, right? So that's considered a whole step. This is an ascending step from C to D, but it's also called a whole step. If there is no black key intervening between the two white adjacent keys, then that is called a half step. So from E to F, that is a half step. Let's see, how should I draw this? Here's an arrow, here's another arrow. I know it's getting a little messy here, but that is a half step. Can you guys see where the other half step is? Yes, that's it. So from B to C, that is also a half step. These measurements in music are really important. And if you can picture the keyboard, it's really easy to visualize them, but you'll start to memorize this anyway. And the reason why you really want to visualize where these half steps lie on the keyboard, because when you're writing on the staff like this, you can't really distinguish whether these steps are half steps or whole steps, and you have to be able to do that. So you start to memorize that, oh, okay, so from B to C, that's where the half step is. And then from E to F, that's where the other half step is. There's only 2 half steps, okay? When you're dealing with the white keys of the piano, there are only 2 to remember. So when you start to learn where these letters are on the staff, there's only 2 places. We're not going to learn it today, but there's only 2 places where you have to remember there's no intervening black key. These are half steps. Okay, so just a little test here. Yell out whole step or half step, and also yell out the musical motion if it's ascending or descending, okay? So how about from A to G, A to G. A to G would be considered a descending whole step. Yeah, that's it. How about from F to E? F to E would be considered a descending half step. You might be wondering, okay, we took these steps and kind of gave them more specific names here. Can we do that with the steps and the skips and the leaps? Yes, yes, that is coming. Just wait for it. We're going to go step by step by step, no pun intended, in order to get all of this material down. I'm trying to make this as easy as possible. Okay, so just a few more. How about from C to B? C to B is a descending half step. Yes, I know you got that. How about from D to C? That is a descending whole step. I'm trying to give you an equal amount of descending motion as ascending motion because for some reason, I don't know, the way our brains work, I find that students struggle a little bit with the descending motion much more than the ascending motion. So just be aware of that. How about from E to D? E to D is a descending whole step. Did you get 100%? You did. Put 100 in the comments below. Good job, guys. When you enter a music program, you're gonna have to learn a little bit of piano. You have to. That's part of the curriculum. And I think some students resent that a little bit. But the Western music language is inherently keyboard-based, keyboard-centered. So it's really, really important that you learn it.